Hey. Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
realize children shouldn't play in places like that, dearie.
We haven't met yet. You must be new in... Right now, a whole lot of sitting on my keister and count... On better days, I help keep the peace. Boone and Vargas watch the road. I watch the town. Was with them. That was back with my arm and leg. I still like to pretend I'm a ranger, though. I'll check in with the guys up at the station pretty regular on the ham radio. Sometimes they stop by, tell me they're paying their respects, the smug bastard. They haven't been responding to me last couple days. I guess they got tired of... Hell, listen. No, they're gonna... They're the... You got a job, and if you see a squad... Yeah, twice. This time... A few years back, we get a tip that some Legion slaver... We get there and it's deserted. No sign anyone... I turn around and there's this kid, just skin and bone, and he's looking up at us and he's scared half to death. Been hiding in a... I go to grab him out of there and I notice he shuts himself back in the closet, and that's when I see the grenade he's left by my feet. They do it a lot, the Legion, using kids. They know we'll hesitate. Anyway, that was the first time. Second time, I fell down those stairs in front of the motel. Just...
Thank you for visiting New Vegas.
Oh, anything's better.
Hey, welcome.
You got my respect.
Drove the raiders off. No casualties. In the meantime, patrol's back. They're late. I hope they got a good excuse. What took... This is a message to the NCR from the Legion. We are coming for you. Run, and we will catch you. Hide, and we will find you. No matter what you do, you are all going to die. We took one of the women alive.
Hey, we haven't met yet. You must... Right now, I'm better... Was. I still like... Sometimes they haven't been responding to me last couple days. I guess they got tired of hearing me... Hell, listen to me talk. Like some damn mother... What? Those were good men at that station. Good men. This whole town was sleeping a lot easier because of them. Now, who knows what we're in for? The Legion? Christ. Well, thanks for telling me. I know that... Tell you what, I'll pay for what you did, but I'll do you one better. There's a move we have in the Rangers for knocking an opponent off his feet. Saved my butt a bunch of times. Let me show you. Boy, you picked that takedown. They're the end. You got a job where even thinking about it would scare a man senseless? That's when you bring in the Ranger. And if you see a squad of veterans, guys who are in their black armor, well, you won't find a more beautiful sight. You got a job where even thinking about it was... And if you see a squad of veterans, guys who are in their... We get there, I turn around. I go to... He shuts... They do it a lot. Anyway, that... Huh. People don't exactly line up to find out what's in my head. Can't remember the last time someone suggested I knew something worth knowing. You know, maybe there's something I can do for you. There's a move we have in the Rangers for knocking an opponent off his feet. Saved my butt a bunch of times, maybe... Let me show you. Boy, you picked that takedown. A few years back, we get a tip that some Legion slaver. I turn.
Never been a big fan of gangs like the Fiends, boss. That's what I love about you, boss. Your firm belief that one day you'll actually remember things people tell you. I grew up in a place called... I wasn't the best behaved kid. I never killed anybody. Just eventually about my whole family, my parents, Raphael, the ones who came after. I know that, boss. Hey, boss. What do you think of guys like Ranger? That wasn't what I meant, really. I mean guys who have a world of experience doing what they do, but have to give it up because they're getting old and slow. Yeah, I suppose you could still teach. Take a less active role in the world. Would it surprise you to know that I used to be a gunslinging adventurer? After the fire, I knew my sister and I couldn't stay at Hidalgo Ranch anymore. The refugees still wanted me dead. They even put a bounty on it. I remember how scared Rafaela was. I told her if she came with me, we'd see the vaqueros. She used to love the rodeo, especially the trick rider. We figured maybe we could find help in Mexico City. We were young. We didn't know what had happened, really. I don't think it was as hard hit as D.C. or Bakersfield, but it was bad enough. By the time we got there, the city was a radioactive ruin. Still, the city was full of looters, already forming into the beginnings of raider tribes. Crime was bad before the war, but now it was a nightmare. We were living like scavengers, scraping by on what little... And then, of course, the radiation started to kick in, turning me into this handsome dick. You're a poet of understatement, boss. But there were moments, I was just looking around for something I could slice up to wrap my burns. When I saw the vaquero outfit hanging on the rack, I took it. Not like anybody else needed it, you know? and wore it back to our camp, Rafaela La. It was. I started to build up a legend. Sometimes it headed off trouble, but most of the times it just started. Young punks looking to prove themselves would come looking for me. For a while, it seemed like we might... She went out to find some food one day. I was sick, so I stayed at our camp. I guess it must have been the beginning of radiation poisoning. Anyway, it was supposed to be safe, but some raiders happened to pass through where she was scavenging. I won't speak of what they did to her. When I found her body, the only way to recognize her was this funny little scar on her knee. Terrible doesn't begin to cover it, boss. I led my whole... I guess maybe I went a little crazy then. I took my guns and went back to that market. I didn't have many bullets, but I had enough. After the raiders were dead, I salvaged what I could from the store. I left Mexico City behind. I made my way out to the Gulf Coast. Eventually, I found an old Petro Chico refinery. I stayed there for a little while, and I thought a lot about my life. I thought about the guns I'd lived by, and I decided my guns hadn't gotten me anything, and it was time to give it up. I took off the old vaquero outfit and put on a Petro. The name tag said Miguel, so I started using the name myself. Eventually, I made it to Arizona. What can I do for you, boss?
Nuclear Winter Wonderland. Look for it on holotape. I've got news for you.
Good call. I mean, if that... Hey, as long as you're not asking me to go back to Black...
If you should find it, do not repeat.
Is it time? I'm ready when you are. That guy Benny was a piece of work.
Got any more good news for me? You killed an... Well, well, well. Driving the Phi. Nothing to say, you son of a bitch? No tips on my golf swing? Lost a lot of good men to this psychopath. Morale's gonna be better now that he's gone. I guess we can send first recon down to Camp Forlorn Hope. They need all the help they can get there. That's 2 psychopaths dead. One thing I should tell you about Cook. Piece of shit. Also, he's got a flamethrower, and he's damn good with it. From what I hear, only one man's gotten close to killing him, and that's Little Buster. Bounty hunter. Talk. I think he's out. You've gone after the fiends before. Still working on that last bounty?
Girl, you are some grade A poon. Anybody ever tell you? You and me at Gamora, rolled up in those silk sheets. I got leave. You killed him? Well, shit. Here I dreamed up this whole elaborate revenge fantasy. Didn't really think I'd do it, but as long as the tubby bastard was actually alive... Here, I owe you. Take it and get out of here, before I indulge my inner bitch and spoil the moment. You keep talking to me, sweetness, and people are gonna think we're an item. What gave me away? The big gun? They don't. Only the good one. My partner's got some potential, so I let him wear those goofy glasses. I tell him they're his training shades. He totally buys it. Truth is, his eyes just... Not unless you count the fiends as serious. Gorobets keeps us inside the fence most of the time. Doesn't matter to me. I just shoot bad guys. Sooner or later, they'll move us out to the dam, though. That's when the shit gets nasty. Legion fights to win, and they're smart. Hell of a lot smarter than these crazy fiends, on the other hand. Sometimes I... Some cute little junkie bitch, so fucked up she doesn't even know that she's the bad guy. And I've got a headshot her. Might just be sex, though. I see some cute little number, and I'd rather get in her pants. So maybe I'm a stone-cold bitch after all. The little guy. 10 of spades. I like him because he listens. Doesn't shut up the rest of the time, but when I talk, he... Also, he doesn't pull any stupid come-ons, like practically every other horn dog alpha male on this base. Might be, he's just... Yeah, we spot for each other, watch each other's backs. Usually works pretty well. Thing is, there's a lot of assholes in the army. Now, if they paired me up with somebody who looks like you... A lot of downtime in the army. Nobody around but you and your partner. Plenty of time for whatever we want. Shit, I don't... Legion...
Hey there, miss. Oh yeah, fine. Just a little stutter. Had a... The LT. Gorobets gave it to me. See, I wanted to be ace of spades, but the LT says, sorry kid, you're too green. So he calls me... It's okay though. I get a few more... I keep at it. Eventually I'll make it to ace. Think I'll skip queen though. Shit. Long as I can learn to shoot on our ramp. Wait. Oh, they recruited me, what, a year ago? Kicking ass. When they show their faces, that's when we...
I'm Bitter Root, first recon. You got a reason to talk? You trying to start trouble? It's a con name. You know, the great cons. That's what my parents... I figured I grew up around the bastards. They owed me a name after all they put me through. They're dead. It was a massacre. That's what a lot of NCR folk will tell you. But I was there. Saw it myself. I don't care what anybody says. The cons asked for Bitter Springs. They wouldn't leave the NCR be. My damn parents, too. Guess I could tell a pretty good story if I had a mind. They brought me to Daughtry after the battle. He was just a captain back then. Guess he saw something in me. Maybe he felt bad, too, about how his men killed my folks. I told him he did me a service, but he didn't believe me. Still doesn't. He's a good man, Daughtry. Doesn't act like it sometimes, I know. But he didn't have to take me in. It's like I tell Major Daughtry. Best not to look under. Could be that NCR found some blood on me and none of it mine. I had scores of my own to settle. Deeper ones than NCR ever had. Don't I? My dad got himself fucked up every chance he got. Hell, he was the one who taught me to shoot. You know how? By taking pot shots at NCR, and not just soldiers. Civilians, too. Even kids. Then he'd get high with his buddies and swap tales about the folk they killed. Bunch of animals. And my mom? A couple of times she tried to sell me to some waster just to score some jet. Even the other cons said she was useless. Only reason they kept her around was because she was how'd my dad say it? A smoking piece of ass. You're not fully grown till you've taken a beat down. After that, if you haven't begged for mercy, when NCR slaughtered the cons of Bitter Springs, I hadn't got my beat down yet. The way I see it, Bitter Springs was my beat down. So afterward, I gave myself a name. While I guess, I like to keep things simple. You let your mind wander back. You really want to talk to somebody, try 10 of spade. Me? Yeah, look, he's not my it's a long story. All right, goodbye.
What a pointless trip.
Sounds like it's gonna be an all-out war.
Still working on that last bounty? We know they supply the fiends with illegal chems, but they never stick around in NCR territory for long. There's talk from time to time about taking out their base at Red Rock Canyon, but nothing ever comes of it. The Great Khans are tough fighters. If we ever did go up against them on their home turf, we'd win. The casualties would be high. Yeah, I was there. I was Captain Daughtry then. That whole situation was a mess and could easily have been avoided with good intel. The Major in charge at the time made a bad call. He thought Bitter Springs was full of Great Khan raiders. By the time any of us realized there were civilians down there, women and children, shooting had already started. The Major froze up at the news, and we couldn't get another word out of him. I took over and salvaged the situation. For my effort, I was promoted to Major. Adoptive father, yes. I was very proud when he made first recon. But if it's not me, it'll be somebody else. At least this way I get one more chance to see him. Still working on that last... It's payback for at least one of my troopers. You've been one hell of a stroke of good luck, you know that? Those 3 scumbags probably killed 20... Wish I had a few grunts as good as you.
You looking to buy some supply? Heard you got cook.
Shh. We're very stealthy. We're okay on Stimpaks. We're okay on medics, until we have to numb the pain.
It's been a long tour.
Who do you think is
All I
cuter,
can think about
Dr.
now is
Klein
going back
or Dr.
home.
Boros?
Anders showed up here not too long ago. I'm told you're the one who got him out of the vault. Can't tell you how relieved I am. Sending him on that mission was a mistake. That's probably true, but I wonder... Although my options were certainly limited, with most of our forces tied up garrisoning this place. Regardless, what you did for Anders isn't something he or any of us around here take lightly. We're all glad to have him back. Thank you. Unbelievable. That man has given us so much grief since we set up here. This may be a major... I can't tell you how many times we thought we'd taken him out, only to have him show up again later, taking... This is for the bounty. And this is from a pool me and a lot of the soldiers around the base had going. You may not be NCR, but... Everything was going according to President Kimball's plan at first. But our two main objectives are still contested. And we're holding Hoover Dam.
But Caesar's Legion is... Calm is what you have to be when people look to you. And it's all you... Unfortunately, no. It sounds like they've run into overwhelming resistance. It's been so bad, I asked Sergeant Reyes at Camp Forlorn Hope to look into it. And it's our main base. From here, we handle most of the... Usually General Oliver runs the show here. But he... Could be... We set up here with our sights set on... If anything, they annexed us. They rake in the profits from our soldiers, and we're stuck protecting them from the Legion. Now we're trying to secure the strip and the dam at the same time. And in the meantime, General Oliver won't approve any offensive maneuver, so we're in a holding pattern here. You don't cook by any chance, do you? Farber's doing his best, but it's hard to manage an army with half my staff in line for the... Honestly, we're fighting a lot of fires right now. We've got the Legion breathing down our necks across the river. We actually took an officer alive last week. Yeah, on top of everything else, I can't send a patrol on a bathroom break without it being ambushed by someone who heard they were coming. So somebody's getting the word out. Well, why not? Given your I'd like to have absolute trust in my men, but that's just not practical right now. We don't have much to go on right now. It derails everything. Supplies, reinforcements. And Captain Curtis is heading up the investigation right now. I have Lieutenant Boyd on that already, and she's excellent. Talk to her if you like. Her office is right above mine, but I think she might be interrogating right now. So she...
The Ranger vets are on their way from Baja. Never
Boyd's
seen
in there
one
with the
before.
prisoner right now.
Heard they chew nails
Boy,
and
is she
spit
pissed.
napalm.
You stick out like a sore thumb around here. You sure you're in the right place? Not big on reading name tags, huh? It's Boyd. Lieutenant... I've told him he could make my job a whole lot easier if he would just let me shoot anyone who talks back to me. Yeah, so far this has gone exactly as expected. Poorly. But with the work you've done for NCR already, you might be just what I've been looking for. We captured an honest-to-God Centurion of Caesar's Legion recently. Better believe it. Everybody in Caesar's Legion. They're so twitchy they'd probably do it if you reached out to hug them. But here's this guy, who's an elite commander in their army, and he just gives himself up, even as his men are slitting their own throats around. Well, I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds like a man who's willing to cooperate. Only times he speaks up are to insult you. He's a real prick, by the way. And I'm supposed to get information out of this guy. Don't have anything like that. Sounds nice. Like the kind of thing I'd want to take home and use on my husband. But even if we did, I don't know that I'd be comfortable using it. Problem is that the NCR frowns on using that sort of tactic. There's some restrictions still in place from President Tandy's administration. But here's my favorite thing about you. You're not in the NCR. Plus, for all this guy knows, you're completely insane. That's a winning combination. I think if you rough him up enough and really put some... So let's do this. When you're ready, I'll go in and give you a little intro. Then I leave... We go back and forth a couple times until either he talks or he can't move his jaw anymore. Either way... That's the spirit. Long time no see, Silus.
Lieutenant, I was just thinking about you.
That's so.
I was just thinking about that pretty neck of yours.
How sweet.
I was thinking about how it would look with a Legion slave collar on it.
I'll pass.
Do you know what I love about our slave collars, Lieutenant?
If you love them, maybe you should try one on.
I love how tightly they fit. I train my men to make sure the slave's flesh bulges a bit around the top and bottom. Know why?
It's all the rage in fashion circles?
Not quite. If you fit it just right, their body never gets used to the feeling of wearing it. It cuts in just enough when they swallow or turn their head to remind them who they belong to. And it's that constant reminder that keeps them docile.
In that case, maybe you'd better save the collar you were gonna give me.
Oh? For whom?
For a friend of mine you're about to meet. My friend isn't very docile.
And who is this friend of yours?
You know all the rules the NCR instituted to protect enemy prisoners of war?
Of course.
My friend doesn't. Oh, and Silus, if you resist at all, I'll personally blow your brains out. Come on in, he's all yours. I'll be back in a bit to see how you're getting along. And I'll need you to surrender your weapons before you go in. You can pick them up from the locker on your way out.
What an ugly little worm you are. What pile of You must have some reason to be in your line of work. Tell me, did we enslave your children? Slaughter your... Whatever it was, I hope I was there to give the order. Foot soldiers of the Legion are trained not to have to think for themselves. They kill themselves to evade capture because they are not trusted to make such a decision rationally in the heat of battle. But I'm no foot soldier. I knew I could escape captivity on my own without revealing the tiniest iota of information to my captors. I'll show you gutless, you sniveling bastard.
Let's finish this up, then we can talk. Is something the matter, Silus? You look upset. I don't know. I thought she seemed like a nice lady.
Your friend is a miserable fucking degenerate.
That's a long walk, Silus. I don't think it's gonna happen. You'd better just talk.
If we were on the other side of the river, I'd have her torn apart by dogs.
If you don't like dealing with me, I can bring my friend back in.
Your tactics are a joke.
Have it your way. Come on back in. I think he misses you.
We don't have anything to do. You think I could get where I was in the league? I've led charges against men with guns, carrying only my knife. And I can tell you, it was they who... But suicide is a weak death on a battlefield. It says to your enemy that you fear capture. You think I'm going to slit my throat for some megalomaniacal self-appointed dictator? I didn't work my way up to have it all be taken from me out of some irrational paranoia. Caesar's losing it. He's been shutting himself in his tent. Privately, he complains of head... Time was essential for my mission, but we waited 3 days for him to dispatch us. Another of his headaches. He has an operative planted in this very base, but does he use his agent to rescue me? He's content to have the agent spend his nights radioing troop positions back to our base camp. He knows I'm here, and he's left me to rot. I don't know. I know he sends intelligence by radio in the middle of the night. Sometimes that intelligence would Then you're a fool. My only hope is to escape and disappear. It served me. I hope the Legion burns your wretched body at the stake. Nothing I could tell you would do anything.
You did well. I don't know how you did it without putting a scratch on him, and I'm a little disappointed personally, but it saved the NCR some face. And it could save us more than that when all is said and done. I'm gonna talk to some people when we're through here. This is about double the standard fee we'd give a consultant, but from what I saw, you're more of an artist. So think of this as your commission.
We're all impressed with the work you've done for us. It's a key to a little hideaway south of here.
You're back.
Nice to meet you. I'm... Smart man. I could use some... Whoever our mole is, he's been slippery. Whenever one of the MPs gets too close, he changes his habits. Our last lead went cold weeks ago. You want my advice? Start by talking to people with a lot... Careful with Contreras, though. He's not above suspicion himself. Keep me apprised of any leads you get. This guy's gotten a lot of my men killed. Officially, I'm in charge of Bravo Company. But since General... So I work with Colonel Shu on logistics. Lately, it's been less about that. It's a big base with a lot of unhappy soldiers. They get stirred...
You're back. Now, what kind of MP would I be if I didn't notice? I've had soldiers go AWOL, Well, there's Anders. He's a ranger. Colonel Shu sent him out. I don't know him very well myself. I seem to remember... Colonel Shu would... It's probably just a meeting spot for a steamy military base love affair. Kids today. But it bothers me that they didn't break in. It means they have an access code. Most Sure, if you want to investigate. It's not like there's anything to steal up there. Just a bunch of old community. If you can find out any... There's something about this I really don't like. Maybe break-in isn't the right word. It's probably just... Not the kind of things you like to see go missing. No witnesses yet. But he's too... Good.
Yes? What is it?
Sagittarius Picus. Over.
Go ahead, Picus.
Afternoon patrol enters Fiend territory at 1300. Have them mind that stretch.
10-4, Picus. Fiends will be alerted.
Roger, Lupa.
What's the status of your primary mission, Picus?
Charges are set. Detonation will occur as the train leaves the station. Over.
How long?
Couple of minutes. Over.
10-4. Keep us updated.
10-4. What are you doing here? You don't have clearance. I don't know what you mean.
Time to fight. Was that all? Who do you think is cuter, Dr. Klein or Dr. Boros?
You're back. Yep.
Yes? What is it? No? Curtis? He's been in the NCR long before our conflict with the Legion. There's just no way. I hope you're mistaken, but somehow I don't think so. It'd explain a lot. This is much worse than anyone expected. There could be others, too. You've done everything that was asked of you. You have my personal thanks for this. And I'll make sure you receive the credit you deserve.
What is it?
Get away from me.
I wish I had a first recon guy looking after me.
Welcome, sir, or...
What is it? I'll make my way there.
My buddies at Camp Mccaran are breathing easy now that the Bean's leader is dead.
Howdy, young lady. How can I help you? But make it quick. Sharp eyes on you, all right. A drink? Nonsense. All I need now is to settle a score. We didn't come a long ways. There's a long list of grievances that Heck Gunderson's got to answer for, kid. I'm here to make sure that rancher stops stealing our lands. If he ain't chiseling behind your back, he just sends his men ready for a fight. Then you either sell your ranch for a penny, or you... I'm tired of being trampled over, kid. And I got a good... What more you want? He's a slithering snake, what he is. One of the biggest landowners this side of the Colorado, and it's all stolen, I tell you. All that money buys him any NCR senators he wants. Scoundrels like heck. There's just no way for us small folks to get by, much less. We're honest folk out there. Damn hard to make a living in the desert, kid. Hexam, scaring us into giving away our lands is all he's done to strike it flush. I have no illusions that he'll ever stop his plundering, so I'm just gonna make him... Here in town, he's got a few of his armed men to protect him. I just gotta find out what he... Where I come... Tell you what, that chiseler's blowing hot air over at that there fancy casino.
Things are getting stranger every day.
Oh, anything's better.
Hello? It's been a long tour. All I can think about. I heard you killed Driver Nafai. We're the finest sniper outfit in the whole NCR. Some of my team aren't without their shit. Cook, one of the fiends, ambushed her and... Betsy shrugged it off like it was nothing, but her behavior keeps getting worse. Always making passes at every woman who wanders by. It's inappropriate for anyone at First Recon to behave that way. I could discipline her, but I'd rather she get medical help. I'd appreciate it. As her CO, I could order her to get help, but I'd have her agree with the idea. Corporal Sterling was an NCR Ranger until he was captured by the Legion. He wasn't able to be a Ranger after that, but his eyes are still sharp, so I had him... We're the finest sniper... If they've proven hard to kill, yes. Whatever it takes to get the job done, even if it means hiring help from outside.
Howdy. Name's Sterling, First Recon. Can't say I've seen you. Got a good memory for faces, landmarks and such. As a matter of fact, it's funny that you'd ask. Got myself a habit of looking all around, not just where I'd expect to find trouble. Round about 1 in the morning, I spied some lights in the control tower. Now that's the 3rd time I've spied those lights. And every time I ask about it, That light is mighty consistent. Always there. I call her the Long Carabine. Didn't always have the scope. Been shooting with her so long, couldn't bring myself to toss her away. The other snipers used bolt action, but Gorbets reckoned it didn't matter none if I was different, so long as I could hit my targets. Used to be a ranger, one of the first they sent out east back before we took the dam. Observation and reconnaissance. We took the lay of the land, checked out the locals, and kept ourselves inconspicuous. A couple friends of mine were the first to scout. That was back in '73, if I recall. A lot of those rangers are dead now. Vegas always chewed men up. It's just a little more literal nowadays. Well, they had themselves some fun with me. Magel wasn't much good with the pistol after that. Wasn't gonna be trekking across the waste on any more long scouts. Caesar's boys figured I wasn't going anywhere after what they'd done to me, so they didn't bother tying me up. I crawled out of there on my elbows and knees. Must have looked a sight. Then I rolled down an embankment into the Colorado. I guess I had a mind to drown rather than give Caesar's boys a satisfaction. But a couple of rangers happened to be watching from across the river. They jumped on in and pulled me out of there. Lucky break, they said. Going on 6 months now, but I reckon we'll be moving out soon enough. Till then, we'll man the towers and keep an eye on the fiend. Whole thing smells of Caesar to me. Of course, that's just guesswork.
What can I do for you, boss? Got a second to talk, boss? Meeting Corporal Sterling. What? Here's a guy that's been beat all to hell, right? I mean, he could have retired from the service, but instead he... You think he did the right thing? You think so, boss? Because I remember a time when a lot of people stuck to their duty no matter what. It ended with nuclear bombs. I left everything when I left Mexico. My home, my family, my name, even my face. I know it's a problem. As far as the world knows, I was Miguel. And I was okay with that. I headed north for a while, and ended up in Tucson. Things were good there. Well, maybe not good, but better than Mexico City anyway. I found myself a little shack. Well, sure, boss. I was always good at fixing things. It's a better way to use your hands than killing. And even then, I wasn't getting any younger or faster. I lived there for a long time. Kept to myself. Didn't get into any fights. Hell, the only reason I even kept my guns oiled was professional pride. Getting there, boss. I'd been in Tucson. The locals can call it Tucson all they want. But it's Tucson, damn it. About 75 years when she showed up. Prettiest thing you ever saw, boss. Maybe it was just a trick of my senile brain, but I swear she looked just like my Raphael. She ended up taking work at one of the brothels in town. I never went to her, of course. How could I? But I looked after her in my own way. This was a long time ago, before Caesar's Legion pacified. A tribe came into Tucson one day. More a gang, really. Dirty Dave and his 6 brothers. They were looking for bullets, and I sold some to them. I figured if I did that, they'd leave town before they tore it up too much. As I was saying, I hoped they'd leave the town in peace. Instead, they decided to stop at Claudia's brothel to take the edge off. I don't know which one of them got rowdy first, but by the time I heard the screams and got my guns, it was too late. They shot up the brothel, killed 4 girls, and taken Claudia for their sport. I went after Dave and his brothers. They had a head start, but they slept nights. I didn't. It took me 3 days to catch up to them. Claudia was dead when I got there. They put a bullet in each of her eyes. I couldn't do it. I charged into the middle of their camp and started firing. 2 of them were... They shot the shit out of me. I would have died, I think, if I wasn't so full of rage. By being a meaner old cuss than the rest of them, boss. I wanted to keep living until They weren't. So I just kept shooting until they were all dead. I was in pretty bad shape in the end, though. I don't know how long I laid there, with the sun baking me and the buzzards chomping at me. Eventually, I got the strength to start moving. Some long time after that, when I recovered, more or less anyways, I left Tucson and headed west. I ran into Tabitha at Black Mountain, and well, I swore I was done with the gunslinging life. I was too old, too slow, and too beat up to protect anyone anymore. I thought I was done forever, but after traveling with you, about whether I'm really too old to keep living the life of a gunslinger after all. And after seeing what you go through, Bach, from now on, I'll let you deal with the fighting and stick to keeping your gear working. I don't want to slow you down more than I already do. You think so? Well, you're the boss. But if I get killed, and if there's an afterlife, I'll haunt your ass. What can I do for you, boss? I expect to be awed by your dizzying mercantile sense, boss.
Some of the other guys told me that the Legion troops eat their own dead to gain their strength.
I'm glad to see you here. Not good. We still haven't gotten any. It's no picnic, I'll tell you that much. We have no men or supplies, and we're if the brass back home could get their... I've got the Legion at Nelson breathing down my neck and not enough men or supplies to get this... I need someone to talk to a few of the officers and help them resolve. If I can get this place in order, then I can... And the more that gets done around here, the more Good. Let's not... Quartermaster Mays has been complaining to me non-stop about the lack of supplies. But I want you to speak with him.
But they're kidding, right?
Hey, girl. You need something from me? The lieutenant's been talking to you, hasn't he? Look, you don't see the others crying about every little...
The devil in disguise. He added he didn't want to see the NCR in the ghetto and called for a mass quote, return to sender. Those were our top stories.
Just another injury to take care of, huh? Well, when you put it that way. All right. There's a Dr. Usanagi who's supposed to be... Yeah.
Injured vets are on their way from...
Starting combat.
Never seen one before.
Just kidding.
But I heard they chew nails and spit napalm.
Evening.
You're back. Do you need... All right. I'm afraid...
welcome, sir, or...
We won't go quietly. The Legion.
What can I do for you? I wish someone with your medical training had come along sooner. I think she'll actually stick with the treatment because of... I was afraid that Betsy wouldn't go for long-term treatment because she didn't want to look bad and for... Do me a favor and let Usanagi know...
Evening.
You're back. Mental trauma can be just as debilitating as physical injuries. Fortunately, I'm well qualified in such treatment. I'll make time in my schedule.
I expect to be awed by your dizzying mercantile sense, boss. I'm sure you'll be fair and equitable, boss. What can I do for you, boss? Good call. Hey, as long as you're not asking me to go back...
Sneaking done. Fighting now. Was that all? Time to fight. Bad guys dealt with. This one looks pretty tough. Guys dealt with. Ready, steady, fighting. Was that all?
Hey, I've been sent to tell you that, while you're not exactly a friend, we figured some kind of truce is in order. As long as you don't come too close to any of our camps, we'll let you pass without trying to kill you. Of course, the truce is off once we...
Didn't know anyone would willingly walk into this place. I was a sheriff, believe it or not. Short version is that sometimes justice is a little slow. I helped speed it up one too many times. I'm not sorry for anything I did, but I will do the time. Fair enough trade if you ask me. I understand that Cook was behind it all. I kept my head down the whole time. I stuck around, figuring the NCR would show up and put things back the way they were. Some kind of anti-NCR rebel. Some people just don't. He went north with some of the other guys. Didn't say where. Didn't say why. All I know is he's got some kind... I'm not quite sure the kind of greeting NCR troopers will give an escaped con like myself. Figure it's better to stay put. Right now, Eddie and his boys run the place. They've got the guns and the dynamite. Prim's got some new sheriff watching over the town.
Got nothing else to say to you.
Steer clear of the Mojave post. NCR troopers all over the place down there.
Sneaky, sneaky. This one looks pretty tough.
Why are you even talking to me?